Andy, thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
First of all, walk us through, you've switched that Twitter bio from person who plays to person who played tennis. Walk us through the emotions last night being on court. How did it feel to have that final farewell?
Well, yeah, I guess it's just nice to have that sort of closure. I mean, also for me to get to do it at an Olympics as well. And you know, the run that we had was, I think, exciting. Like, we came back from some sort of improbable kind of situations in the matches, and yeah, obviously yesterday was, you know, it was disappointing end. We would have liked to have given ourselves a chance at a medal, but didn't play well enough, unfortunately. And yeah, it was obviously sad leaving the court for the last time, but happy. You know, ultimately, like, I'm glad I got to finish my career on my own terms, you know, on court in front of, you know, a brilliant crowd.
How do you feel about the sort of final chapter? I think we could go back a few years, but especially the last few months. You say you got to write it on your own terms. How does that feel as an athlete to be able to, that's a tough decision, retirement, so how does that feel?
Yeah, it is difficult, and, you know, I think it's very personal as well. Like, you know, and I feel like in the last few years, like, a lot of the guys that have been up at the top of the game, you know, have been asked that question, like, a lot, like, when are you going to retire, and, you know, when is the right time? And it's not always that helpful because, you know, the athletes maybe don't know themselves, and I don't think there isn't a perfect ending, and there's no right way for everyone. You know, it's going to be different for each person. I was there when Roger finished playing, and, you know, seeing him competing in doubles alongside Rafa was an amazing ending, but not one that many people would have expected for, you know, Federer's last match. And, you know, for me, like, the Olympics has been an unbelievably special event to me, and, you know, although I made my living playing singles, like, to do it on a doubles court with, you know, with Dan, who's been a friend of mine for many years, and, you know, have not a fairy tale ending, like, which would have been winning a medal, but having, you know, a brilliant run has been, yeah, really special. Being surrounded by all of my teammates and, you know, having my friends and family here has been really nice.
Why have the Olympics, especially for you as a tennis player, why have the Olympics meant so much to you in your career?
Because it's the best sporting event. You know, I love tennis, obviously, but I ultimately love sport. I watch lots and lots of sport. I grew up playing all sorts of sports with my brother and my family. I love being part of a team. You know, representing your country always poses, like, different challenges, different emotions in people, and yeah, it felt right for me to finish here, and yeah, I'm proud of what I achieved whilst competing for GB. My best weeks in my career have, you know, been, you know, the Olympic Games and Davis Cups and things like that, so just felt right.
Yeah, can we reflect a little bit on London and Rio? Those were quite different tournaments, weren't they? But you're still the only man to do the singles double golds in the modern era, at least. What does that mean to you, Andy? And how do you reflect on those two victories? They were iconic both in and of themselves.
Yeah, so, yeah, London obviously for me was like, well, for all of the British athletes, it was like, you're only going to get one chance at playing in a home Olympics, and the fact that it was at Wimbledon as well, which, you know, is obviously a special venue for all tennis players. And yeah, getting to win a gold medal playing against Roger Federer, who's obviously one of the greatest tennis players of all time, certainly one of the greatest grass players of all time, was yeah, was amazing. And Rio was, you know, was different, very different atmosphere, but yeah, again, just incredible outcome. Yeah, played against Del Potro in the final there, and it was like proper split of, you had the Brazilian fans that were behind me, and a lot of Argentinians were there behind him, and it was like, more like a sort of football, soccer type atmosphere, whereas Wimbledon, was very much, crowd was right behind me. So yeah, totally different, but amazing experiences.
Is it too soon to talk about legacy? I'm thinking about your willingness to be open with us on the media side, your stand for clean sport, women's sports. What do you feel like you've written outside of the lines in your career?
Yeah, I don't know exactly, and I think that's for the media, public, or other people to judge. I just, from my end, like there's lots of things in my career that I'm proud of. I worked extremely hard throughout my career to try and get the most out of myself. There's obviously things that I regret and things I wish I could have done better or done differently, and behaved differently in certain situations and things like that. I was by no means perfect, and I gave the sport as best as I could. I was always trying to improve and get better, and proud of the results.
You were just saying that Sophia's coming to watch some of the sport because she's gotten so into the Olympics. What's it meant for you this last chapter, or these last 8 years, I guess, as you've started a family, to have the kids there? And did they inspire you in a way to pass on to the next generation this love of sport?
Yeah, well, they actually haven't really been into sport at all. Until recently, and Sophia just has started to show more of an interest, and she plays some team sports at school and has been loving watching the Olympics on the television. And I thought that, well, it's a great opportunity. Now, Paris is obviously very close to London. The next Olympics obviously being in LA, it's just a slightly different trip for us if we decided to go over there. And I thought we'd try and get her along to watch some of the sports and see if inspires her. And look, I would never force sport on children or anybody, but I would encourage giving it a go, just because I do think it teaches you lots of great lessons, about work ethic and teamwork, and dealing with failing, and also teaching you how to deal with highs and success as well, and obviously good for your health and all of those sorts of things. So there's many positives that come from playing sport, and I'd encourage that for my children.
Really special tennis tournament. Yourself, Rafa, Angie Kerber. We're not sure exactly what Rafa's path looks like, but what has Rafa's legacy, and you guys have shared so many different moments, what's he meant to you in your career?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's obviously been phenomenal. Well, I mean, an unbelievable player, first and foremost. Some of the achievements he had on the court were, well, I don't think will ever be matched. I mean, winning, I always get this wrong because it's just so ridiculous. I think it was 14 French Opens. It's wild that, like, I can't believe that it's possible to win that many times at one event, especially a slam. So yeah, I think that's a record that will stand for an extremely long time. But I think the way he went about things in terms of like his sportsmanship and his work ethic, his professionalism, and all of those things is like, what would stand out for me. He controlled himself unbelievably well on the court, showed huge passion also when competing for Spain and for his country, and has had an amazing career. And I've known him since we were like 12, 13 years old. So yeah, amazing what he's gone on to achieve, and he's always really remained the same as well. He's never really changed. So yeah, I don't know what's next for him, but yeah, what a career he's had, and hope he's able to keep going if that's what he wants to do.
Andy, what's next for you? Is there coaching in the future, commentary booth? What interests pique you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like commentary is something that I would like to do, to be honest. Coaching would be more my sort of thing, I think. I don't know whether that's something that I will definitely do, but I would consider doing that in the future, but not immediately. Like I want to spend time at home with my family and my children, and not be traveling around the world as much, because it's become harder and harder the last few years as the kids have got a bit bit older. Like the tennis tour takes you away from them for 3-4 weeks at a time, and it's not easy. So I want to spend time at home with them, and then when I've had a bit of time to rest and relax, we'll see what's next.